Hello, dear Virgo. Can you feel a whisper running through the air, as if the breeze were carrying secrets that only your heart could recognize? There is something mysterious today, a kind of gentle presence that gently touches your shoulder and invites you to perceive the world with new eyes. Before we travel through this universe of sensations and revelations, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel now, activate notifications, leave a like, and share this content with someone who needs a dose of clarity. And to activate the cosmic energy that flows around you, write here in the comments a word that represents your vibration right now, along with the city from where you are watching me. This simple act seals our connection and makes good energy circulate even more intensely. If you take a deep breath now, you might feel a slight shiver run down the back of your neck, almost as if a gentle wind touched your body to tell you that the day has something special in store. Sometimes, it's the universe's way of speaking to you through subtleties, asking you to notice what seems invisible to hurried eyes. You may notice, as you walk, a sweet aroma that arrives and disappears suddenly, bringing memories of a pleasant phase in your life or a secret desire that has not yet been fulfilled. Allow this experience to awaken awareness of the present moment in you, as it is by paying attention to details that you find the most valuable clues to guide your day. The feeling that hangs in the air is reminiscent of a soft melody that flows unhurriedly, delicate but full of purpose. You, dear Virgo, have a critical look at the world around you, but today the proposal is to balance this analytical disposition with the poetry that springs from within. There is a spark of inspiration waiting to manifest in every breath you take. And when the mind opens to nuances, life begins to reveal signs that would otherwise go unnoticed. Let each step you take in your routine turn into something greater, a gesture of care, a kind attitude, a silent pause. This posture of surrender increases sensitivity to perceive details, such as a repetitive sound in the distance that because it is so present, may contain a hidden message about the internal rhythm that you need to assume today. In this climate of attention and care, the search for balance and strategy is present. You've always liked to think about everything in an organized way, but remember that balance doesn't mean controlling every millimeter of your reality. Balance is also knowing how to give in when necessary, and accepting that sometimes the flow of life has its own rhythm. While love warms the heart, work requires calm and discernment. Who knows? You might find an unexpected answer to a professional situation while enjoying a coffee or noticing the subtle touch of air conditioning in the room. It is in this meeting between what is planned and what simply happens that you find opportunities for personal growth. When love and relationships come into play, there is the chance to express feelings that previously seemed hidden by excessive reserve or the rush of everyday life. If you already live with someone, notice the small gaps in conversations. Sometimes, a discreet smile or a fixed look says more than direct words. If you are looking for connection, you may realize that it is in the simplest of places that meaningful encounters can be born. A spontaneous comment at the market, a kind greeting to someone in the building, or even an online reunion with someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Every interaction carries potential, dear Virgo, as long as you allow exchanges to happen genuinely. And when shyness strikes, remember that authenticity is your greatest ally. When you truly show yourself, you make room for others to do the same. While love heats up, work demands calm. Today might be a good day to review processes and check if all the details of a project are as they should be. Your keen perception can identify a small inconsistency that, if adjusted in time, will avoid bigger problems later. At the same time, don't let the search for perfection stop you from risking something new or daring a different idea. At certain times, creativity arises precisely when you allow yourself to make mistakes, learn, and start over. If a distinct aroma appears in the air, that reminds you of something striking. Take it as a warning. Try, review, but don't worry too much. Life is made of constant polishing. It is in this mix of dedication and flexibility that you find the right point between demanding and lightness. As for finances, today may be the ideal time to reevaluate where your money is going and whether your priorities reflect what is truly valuable in your heart. Perhaps there is an expense that no longer makes sense, or an investment that seems too risky without bringing a real return. On the other hand, the opportunity may arise to support a small project, to buy something that makes your daily life easier, or to take a course that expands your professional horizon. The tip is simple. Observe the sensation that arises in your body when thinking about a certain expense. If you notice tension in your shoulders or a tightness in your stomach, it may be a sign that it is worth thinking better before acting. If, on the contrary, you feel relief or a pleasant warmth in your chest, it is likely that this impulse is aligned with your values. When it comes to health and well-being, pay attention to your body's rhythm. You may notice a small headache appearing for no apparent reason, or a slight muscle stiffness that appears at the end of the day. Instead of treating this as something common, see these symptoms as reminders that your body requires regular care. Even if your routine seems hectic, trying to fit in a few minutes of stretching, meditation, or at least a break to enjoy a drink calmly can make a difference in your mood. In this way, you transform Virgo's typical worry into a self-care tool, recognizing that prevention is always more effective than remedying existing situations. Luck and intuition today show themselves subtly but powerfully. You may notice a number repeating itself several times, or find a small feather on the floor in a completely unexpected place. These signs, however banal they may seem, serve as reminders that there is something bigger at work behind the scenes. If, by chance, the opportunity arises to help someone without them explicitly asking, consider it. Luck often manifests itself when you act generously without expecting anything in return, and intuition, dear Virgo, is the whisper of the soul that, when heard, avoids problems and opens shortcuts to paths you didn't even imagine possible. In personal and professional relationships, the challenge arises of reconciling the independence you value so much with the importance of partnerships. Sometimes, you may believe that handling everything alone is the best solution, but joining forces with someone who has a complementary vision can save time and bring superior results. If you notice a slight chill in your hands when you're talking to someone about a project or idea, interpret this as a sign of affinity. Who knows? This partnership might be more promising than you think. However, if you feel unexplained discomfort, be cautious and assess whether there really is convergence of objectives. When it comes time to plan and set goals, it's worth reviewing your goals and analyzing whether they all still make sense for your life. Perhaps there is an old dream that has lost its luster, or a goal that you set motivated by other people's expectations, not by your own will. If this is the case, it may be time to let go of certain burdens to make room for new possibilities. Instead of demanding yourself to do everything to the letter, reflect on what really makes you smile and what feeds your essence. Letting go of what no longer makes sense is an act of courage and wisdom, dear Virgo, as it leaves the way clear for what really matters to flourish. Spirituality and inner growth gain prominence on a day like today, when you are more sensitive to signs and subtleties. Even if the routine is dense, taking a moment to silence your mind, breathe deeply, or even contemplate nature through the window, you create a space where inspirations can emerge. This pause, even if brief, makes you realize that life is much more than a list of tasks and obligations. There is an invisible dimension that nourishes the soul if you allow yourself to access it. And when you reach this level of depth, what seemed difficult acquires new meanings and, often, is even resolved more fluidly. Of course, no evolution process happens without challenges. you may come across unforeseen events or obstacles that is, at first, generate anxiety. Pay attention to the signs your body gives. A sudden urge to take a deep breath or tension in your jaw may indicate that you are trying to control something beyond your reach. At these times, remember that each difficulty is also a teacher who teaches something. If Plan A doesn't work, Plan B may turn out to be even better. If something that you considered very important turns out to be unfeasible, who knows? Maybe that will free you up for something more aligned with who you really are. Reassessing priorities becomes essential in this context. Don't be afraid to adjust your plans, rethink agreements, or even change your route. Life is dynamic, and if you keep an open mind, new opportunities can emerge from situations that previously seemed stagnant. Even pay attention to a common object that will have a special meaning. It could be a paperclip that you find several times in the same day, a cutlery that falls off the table without explanation, or an old note that reappears in the least expected place. When you notice this, ask yourself, is there a part of my life that needs to be reorganized or revised in a profound way? Often, it is through small coincidences that the universe nudges our shoulder and signals what needs attention now. I leave a reflective question for you to ponder throughout the day. Which detail in your routine could hold the key to a greater change? Think about something you do without noticing, perhaps the way you plan the start of the morning, the way you handle your personal objects, or even the way you relate to people who go unnoticed in the daily rush. Sometimes, just changing a small habit causes a revolution that reverberates in all areas of your life. And if you know someone who needs courage to make this transformation, share this video with them. Together, you can exchange incentives and discover a strength you perhaps never imagined you had. In conclusion, dear Virgo, remember that you carry within you the ability to see details that other people ignore. It's as if your eyes were a magnifying glass to understand nuances of the world, but also of your own soul. Use this power, not just to criticize, but to build bridges, open paths, and lighten burdens. You are like a careful gardener who, planting the right seed and watering it with care, harvests flowers that beautify and transform the surroundings. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel now and click the bell so that the stars never lose their way to you. Leave your like as proof that you are committed to your own evolution, and also share it with those who need a dose of hope. I am immensely grateful for your presence, and I hope that this day is marked by discoveries, lightness, and a lot of authenticity. See you tomorrow.